Hello again! Today I have something really awesome to show you. My first working robot in Minecraft. And if you haven't already, check out Dockham77's video on it, because in there we make a nice little demonstration of what this thing is capable of. But don't worry, I will give you a quick overview in here as well. So let's make him move. So you can see he's completely animated and just walks around. If he sees a repeater, he will walk into the direction of that repeater. If there's a block in his way, he will mine it, destroy it. And if there's an entity, he will kill it. Unless he's standing on top of a redstone lamp. In that case, he will just wait for new instructions. And yeah, this little bugger here took me a few hours of not sleeping, but I think it was worth it. And now I'm going to show you how this thing works. And here we can already see all the command blocks needed to make this thing run. On one side we have all the command blocks needed for the animation. So this part is only here to make you see something. And this long part over here with the different wool colors, that's the actual brain. This thing makes that thing actually do something. First, let's have a look at how I animate this. Of course, what you already know is that I'm using armor stands. And that's because I can easily sum them in at different places, and because I can give them very specific poses. And let's scroll through it. There it is. The poses can change the orientation or rotations of the head, of the body, the arms, and the legs. And what I did is create command blocks, or in general commands, for each different pose of all the animations. So each animation consists of several frames. For example, walking is 7 different frames that are chained together. And then have a command block setup that quickly cycles through all of them. So that in the end, I summon in different entities with small changes in between. And because it all happens so fast, you see a somewhat smooth transition between an animation. And that's happening in here. We have 12 rows of command blocks, 8 shorter ones and 4 long ones. And here we have the animations needed for the mining animation. So this is just one animation cycle for the mining, and we have 4 of them for 4 different directions. So for each direction I need a different set of command blocks. Then in here we have 4 different directions for the walking animations. That's why they're a bit longer. I need more keyframes, as you can see there. And in the back we have the attacking animation, which is pretty much the same as the mining, just with a sword in his hand instead of a pickaxe. And for completion, down here we have already also another part. This is for the standing still animation. It's only one keyframe, but it's still kind of an animation, at least in my book. So again, 4 of them for 4 different directions. And what I do here is I have those setups down here, below each one. And all I need to do is fill in those 2 blocks with redstone blocks, the fill command. And then first this command block will activate, which will clone the complete area below the command blocks 1 block further in that direction, so that it appears like this redstone block will walk below the command blocks here through. And the second command block and the setup down here will clone the redstone blocks from the end to the beginning here. So that's why you can see 2 at some points, and sometimes only 1. So that way I can cycle the redstone block through all the keyframe animations, and then it starts in the back again. Now you also notice that down here we have 4 extra command blocks for the walking animation. And yeah, I probably should explain this. So for the mining and attacking, all I have to do is summon in the entity with the right pose, the armor stand with the right pose and right orientation. Now what I do is I summon them in the position of an entity called target. You don't see it, it's invisible, but wherever you see the robot there is this entity called target. In my case it's even another armor stand. And sadly the summon command will take the coordinates of that entity, round them down, and then use its relative positions here to summon in the entity. So If I would just use a summon command with tilde tilde tilde, it would place the entity directly at the center of the block. And that's fine for the mining and the attacking, because in there we want the entity to stand in the middle. But if the entity should walk, it should walk between the different blocks as well. So for the walking animation, I need to add relative coordinates in here. So for each frame, the summon entity will get placed a little bit further from the target entity, the entity called target. And once we reach a distance of 1 block, so once the visual entity, our keyframe, is far enough away from the target entity, exactly 1 block, we will use this command to teleport the target entity actually also 1 block further. So basically, the entity stands still in one place. Our little robot seems to walk past it to the next block, and once it reaches this point, it will place the target entity in here as well. I think I can show you that later by making that target entity visible. But yeah, that's how the animation works. Oh yeah, probably should mention that down here I've also command blocks that kill the old animations. So the entity I summoned in will only exist for 1 tick, and the next tick it will get deleted, and afterwards the next frame will get summoned in. And that's the animation. It's actually not too complicated. It's just a lot of work, because you have to set up all those command blocks with small differences in between. Now let's have a look at the brain. So how does it work? Well, before we have a look at that, I need to show you the different scoreboard objectives I need. So first of all, we have a state for the robot, the miner state. This tells me what the robot is currently doing and tells the logic what it's supposed to show and do. So we have different states for just standing still, for walking, for mining, for attacking, and for rotating. 5 different states. And what he's supposed to do will be stored inside its scoreboard objective or scoreboard value for miner state. Then we also have a value for the rotation. We need that to determine in which direction the robot is supposed to look for entities and blocks, and which animations to play. And also I need 3 different timers. The first one is for mining. If he sees a block, I need to time when he's supposed to destroy the block and when to play the sound and all the effects. For that I need the timer. Then, of course, I need something similar for the attacking. I need to tell when to attack, how often to attack, and all that stuff. And it might sound a bit weird, but I also need a timer for the rotation. And that may sound weird later when I show you how the rotation actually works, but don't worry, we'll get to that. So 5 different objectives, the state, the rotation, and 3 different timers. And now the actual brain. The colors indicate different parts of the cave sound system. The green part is the actual logic, and here I analyzed the situation. For example, is there a block in front of the robot, and set the scoreboard values to certain values. So for example, if there's a block in front, I set the state he's currently in, the current robot state, to mining, so that the logic later knows I need to play the mining animation and make sure the block gets destroyed after a while. Or if he's standing on a redstone lamp, he's supposed to stand still, so he sets the state to 0, overrides everything. Let's see, was it here? No, that's rotation. Here. For example, here I'm using the detect feature of execute to see if there's a redstone lamp, turned off redstone lamp, and if that's the case, I set miner state to 0. I make him stop. So that's all the stuff that happens in here. In the blue parts, we have the animations, and here we'll make sure that the right command blocks in here are called. So first the light blue area, which handles nearly all of the animations from stopping to walking and so on. And that's just working by checking if I'm in a certain state. For example, am I in state 0? If I'm in rotation 3, then execute that command block. If I'm state 0 and rotation 0, or is it? Rotation 0 there, then execute a different command block. All depending on the rotation and state. That's all the command blocks in here do. The more tricky part is the dark blue area, and here we need the turning. This is only for the rotation, when he hits a repeater. in that case, all I do is use the timer, increase it over time while he's still in the rotation state, and I issue a teleport command. Yeah. And here I have a teleport command that will get executed once our timer reaches 10 ticks. And if it's, for example, on the rotation 0, the teleport command will rotate it to 0. Or if it's rotation 1, we rotate it to 90 degrees. And that works for all the rotations. So the robot hits the repeater. We set the state to rotate, because we detect the repeater, and increase the timer. Once 10 ticks happened, it will issue a teleport command to make this nice little rotation animation. All we need to do is really issue the teleport command, and it will automatically make this nice little turn. And then, after 20 ticks, so 1 second, it will destroy the repeater. So the turning is a little bit more complicated, but it looks great. And then we have the last two parts, yellow and orange. These are the effects the robot can do. So yellow is for the mining, for destroying blocks. So in here we increase the mining timer, we create the particles and the sound effect, and then once we are far enough, so after 60 ticks, so 3 seconds, I just use a set block command to destroy the block. And because I have destroy in the end here, it will also drop the item. Pretty neat. The orange part is, of course, for the attacking now. And attacking works by just giving the entities in front of him a wither effect, and to make sure that all entities are killed, because some entities are not affected by wither, I kill all entities in that area after 3 seconds. By the way, I use wither effect and not damage potion, because wither will affect all mobs, not just the living ones. Yeah, and that's the brain. So in the end, when the system is running, we can have a look at... Oh, that was the wrong command. We can have a look at the scoreboard values. At the moment, he's in state 1. He's walking. If we would have redstone block, for example, in front, he would mine it. And you can see miner timer increase. And there was a glitch. If there's an entity, you can see him. State 3 is attacking. Attack timer increases. We can make him turn a few times. You can see miner time state is 4, rotation changes, and in between the turn timer increases. So that's all stuff that happens in the green part. The values get changed. In the blue part, we activate different parts of the system so that different animations get played. You can see the redstone block walking through here. It's a bit laggy right now because I'm recording, but this is actually working smooth. And in the yellow and orange part, we make sure he can mine blocks and destroy actually things. And that's my little robot. I will try to put this in Word download. I don't know yet if this will work, so apologies if I don't make it into the description, but otherwise, I think you can work things out on your own as well if you're really interested in this. So, thank you for watching. See you next time.